War in the Middle East, it's getting bigger overnight. 3 Americans have now lost their lives, 11 Israelis, and so far more than 200 people have been killed inside Iran, including the supreme leader, the Ayatollah Khamenei. Key other members of the regime have also lost their lives, though we're unsure exactly who at this point. Netanyahu, he says the strikes will only get bigger and more ferocious over the next few days.
כוחותינו הולמים עכשיו בלב טהרן בעוצמות הולכות וגוברות, וזה רק ילך ויתגבר עוד יותר במהלך הימים הקרובים. אנחנו במערכה שבה אנחנו מביאים את כל כוחו של צה"ל כפי שלא היה מעולם למערכה הזאת כדי להבטיח את קיומנו ועתידנו.
Right, you're looking at a map now, obviously. It tells you in red where strikes have hit across Iran. The blue dots you can see here are where Iran has targeted US military bases in retaliatory attacks. There have been reports of strikes in Qatar, Kuwait, Bahrain, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, Iraq and Oman. In Israel, at least 9 have been killed in Iran's latest attack on a residential area in Beit Shemesh. Iran's government says an interim council will oversee the country until a new supreme leader is elected in the coming days. The Iranian president is giving this warning to Israel and the United States.
و نیروهای مسلح جمهوری اسلامی ایران با قدرت در برهم کوبیدن پایگاه‌های دشمنان در اقدامند و اقدام خواهند کرد و دشمنان رو مثل همیشه ناامید خواهند نمود و آمریکا و اسرائیل باید بدانند که جز سرفکندگی برای اینها هیچ ارمغانی نخواهد داشت.
Now, there are obviously implications here for the price of oil, for the price that we might end up paying at the pump, for inflation, a whole bunch of things. For that, we'll speak to the AA and we'll speak to the Finance Minister. We will also speak to the Prime Minister about the legality of these strikes and also hear from the British Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer. First, though, on that question, let's go to Helen Clark, former Prime Minister and member of the international leaders group, the Elders. Helen, good morning. I know that you have called our government's response to this a disgrace. Can you say why?
Because the attacks are a clear breach of international law. International law does not permit any power with the ability to do so to strike anyone it likes, any time it likes. And that's pretty much what's happened. Despite
the fact we don't like the Iranian regime, but despite the fact they've killed hundreds, thousands of protesters there, despite the fact they're destabilising the region through their proxies and killing people and starting wars and starting conflicts, still not justification enough? What would justify a strike that's just taken place?
So there's two things. One, is there an imminent threat to those who are striking? Clearly not. No one would see that as a credible excuse right now. It seems that the timing was very much occasioned by intelligence, which showed that a grouping or groupings of senior leaders were at certain places and certain times, so the decision was made to take them out, even though the talks which had been ongoing between Iran and the United States were showing some promise by all accounts, including from the UN Secretary General. So the excuse of needing to strike in self-defense was not there in face of no imminent threat. Secondly, there is a mechanism at the United Nations called responsibility to protect, where a range of measures can be taken by the Security Council. Now, clearly not easy, but then international law is there to try to keep a rules-based order, if you like. And we've just seen another hammer blow against that rules-based order.
Helen, I want to play for you Sir Keir Starmer, who's spoken in the last wee while. The UK's response sounded to me very similar to our response. I want your feedback on that. Here he is.
We want to see peace and security and the protection of civilian life. Iran can end this now. They should refrain from further strikes, give up their weapons programs, and cease the appalling violence and repression against the Iranian people.
Is his response as disgraceful as ours?
Well, what you showed just then from Keir Starmer is a statement of where we are right now. We want the retaliation to stop. We want the you hit us, we hit you. It's got to stop. There's got to be a de-escalation because civilian lives are the huge priority here now. They need to get back to the negotiating table. And yes, for once and all, could we get agreements which stick on Iran agreeing not to do anything which takes it near a nuclear weapon? Now, remember, we had an agreement like that at the time of the first Trump administration, negotiated by the predecessor, Obama administration, and President Trump withdrew from that agreement. So, look, can we just get on a course now where we get back to diplomacy, people stop killing each other, and we try to get a durable resolution?
Helen, really appreciate your time this morning. Thanks for being with me. Helen Clark, former Prime Minister and a member of the Elders Group.